Maxwell Pereira, former Joint Commissioner of Police, Delhi, says don't jump the gun. Kiran Bedi is one of India's top cops. And my first question this evening is to V.K. Anand, lawyer for Ram Singh, the late Ram Singh. Mr. Anand, is it possible that your client, Ram Singh, committed suicide? You know, suicides happen. I'm just playing devil's advocate. Suicides do happen, don't they? He could have been under stress.
I make it very much clear that as regards the suicide is concerned, I doubt he has committed any suicide because there were no circumstances which ultimately suggest he can go to that extent to commit suicide, because for the last 1 month I am observing him. For the last 1 month about 50 witnesses has been examined in this case. He has no time. He ultimately very much satisfied with the trial going on. He was very much with the judge itself. He was very much just. Everybody was happy. Everybody was satisfied with the trial is going on as regards trial is concerned. But I do not know under what circumstances this ultimately thing has happened. I am unable to understand, because he has never brought all these things, whether he was very much in a mental stress or there was any pressure.
Was he under mental stress? Was he under mental stress? Because you know, Ram Singh, please understand this. Your client Ram Singh was aware that the verdict will not be in his favor, and hence he had ample reasons to end his life.
No, I just bring into kind notice. For the last 1 month, if you go through the entire evidence, I cannot disclose all these things because this is a court proceeding are concerned on, but I have already substantially damaged the case of the prosecution itself, and it is within the knowledge that case is going on in their favor itself. So I do not know, I cannot say whether it due to this case, ultimately he was of the opinion that case will not go in his favor.
Kiran Bedi, do you think he killed himself, or do you think there's something else to the story?
I would like to comment on what the lawyer just now said with great respect, saying that I've considerably damaged the case. Do lawyers damage the case, or do they promote justice? I think this is very interesting. That's exactly the problem. Is the job of the lawyers or the legal defense to damage cases, or is it to become part of the justice system? I think that's the real issue. Here is this man who's been openly saying, Ram Singh had been regularly saying, and his team, that they've committed the crime and they may be hung.
Yeah.
He's again, it's been reported in the papers again today, somewhere, that he told his parents and his father, and the mother is saying, ek galti ho gayi, sarkar ko maaf kar dena chahiye. And even the father is saying, galti ho gayi, usne mana. The point is, why should we be not as instruments of justice? Why can't this lawyer tell this man, get this guilt off your chest, go and tell the judge, galti hui, सजा जो बनती हमें दो और जेल में रिफॉर्म के लिए भेज दो, हम सुधरना चाहते हैं.
Kiran Bedi, may I ask you, but 1 second, Maxwell Pereira, before I come to you, I want to settle this part. V.K. Anand, I know your responsibility as a lawyer, sir.
I have to go away.
1 minute. Kiran, just listen to his reply and then you can go away. You have your responsibility as a lawyer. Kiran Bedi is asking you today that you have no business saying I damaged the case. Answer, Kiran Bedi. What do you mean by saying I damaged the case?
As a defense counsel, I have my duty, I have my professional duty.
Professional duty?
Ultimately create a doubt in the minds of the court itself that their prosecution is not coming forward with all fairness itself. That's why I use this word.
No, Mr. Kiran Bedi, Kiran Bedi, do you accept that? Kiran Bedi, do you accept this? He's saying the prosecution is not doing his job. I have my professional responsibility as a lawyer. This is not really what we are talking about. We are talking about whether it's murder or suicide. I'd like you to respond back. You want to respond back to... He says, I'm doing my duty. Kiran Bedi.
Sure, he's doing his duty in damaging justice. Perfect. He's doing his duty in damaging justice. And if he thinks damaging justice is his duty, perfect. If that's his training, I can't help it. And I could talk it probably as an individual. I'm not talking it as a class. But it's only referring to what he said.
But that's not the issue tonight, Kiran Bedi. The issue tonight is, and I put that question, Kiran Bedi, stay a couple of minutes. The issue tonight which I put now to Maxwell Pereira is...
I can't say.
No, the issue is it murder or suicide, Kiran Bedi?
I can't say I have a commitment.
No, is it murder or suicide? What is your hunch before I let you go? Murder or suicide?
Or no. No, or no. The probe will tell. I would like Maxwell Pereira. I won't jump the gun. I think let the probe decide.
Why?
It could be either way.
Why do you call it jump the gun? Okay, I'll let you go, Kiran Bedi. I know you have to go. Maxwell Pereira, I don't understand this business of jumping the gun. This is an unbelievable case at face value. And yet, policemen are quick to blame the media, saying don't jump the gun. Why?
You have said it, Arnab. You yourself have said it. It is an unbelievable case. It is an unbelievable circumstances. So why don't we believe what what is right or what the facts will tell after the inquiry? The facts will tell after the post-mortem report comes out. Don't you think that we are jumping the gun?
I don't think so.
If we are waiting for the same,
I don't think so.
The post-mortem report.
I don't think so. With all respect.
Well, you are entitled to your opinion. Well, I don't agree with you, and I definitely will stand by my this thing. I would want the post-mortem report to be public first, and the experts, the forensic experts, to really tell, whether it's a suicide or a murder.
Well, I think,
not for you and me to speculate.
I think so, sir. I think there are past cases, Mr. Maxwell Pereira, which you are forgetting, where things have happened in prisons, which are all the things which happened in prisons are not by the rule book. In this particular case, Aryaman Sundaram, let me get you in. Maxwell Pereira puts the ball back in our court. He says, don't jump the gun. First of all, Aryaman Sundaram, do you believe this is jumping the gun? The circumstances in which this man has so-called killed himself, do you think it's jumping the gun or a legitimate question, considering that the Nirbhaya case, of which he is the ringleader, was talked about by the entire nation for almost a couple of weeks, and even till now?
Arnab, I find it ironical. I find it most ironical. The entire country, including the media, including everybody else, was baying for this man's blood till yesterday. Today, everybody is saying, why, what happened to him, and we are now baying for the blood of those who we feel took his blood. This is really a very ironical situation.
No, Aryaman Sundaram, not out of sympathy. Not out of sympathy, but he had to face the law.
No,
one second.
It really brings home. Exactly. Let me just finish, Arnab. It brings home one very important fact, that in India, and I must admit it's not only India but in other countries also, custodial safety is always a great concern.
Truly.
It is a fact that there are custodial deaths, and when we talk about custodial deaths, it's usually the establishment being responsible for the death. But there are also innumerable acts of violence and deaths amongst inmates in the jail. If you take this scenario, any one of three things could have happened. A, it could have been a suicide. B, it could have been a custodial death, either implicitly done or explicitly so. Implicit in shutting an eye to the fact that a man was being killed, that an under trial was being killed, and looking away from it. And third, it could be a murder committed by other inmates of that jail. Now, any one of these three are possible, which is what the investigation is on for.
No, but why? Mr. Sundaram, I must intervene to only ask you one question. You say today, till yesterday, the media was baying for that man's blood. Firstly, the media was baying for justice, Mr. Sundaram. And you say then the man is dead, now you are asking how he died. The question is this, and you know it as well as I do, Mr. Aryaman Sundaram, there is a world of difference between a person facing justice and going to the gallows and killing himself. The system is not aimed at allowing a man to kill himself. Purnima Advani has some valid questions in this case.
Let me answer you.
No, let Purnima Advani come in. I'm coming back.
And let me answer you. Go ahead. Arnab, let me answer you.
Sure.
You have placed a question which I want to answer right away. And that answer is this, that even in custody, it has been recognized by the Supreme Court since Batra's case and even before that,
that even in custody you have your right under Article 21 and you have your right of safety. That's what I was trying to
precisely
highlight, that this case has brought out the fact that custodial safety in India is at a very low level.
I want
to say it doesn't matter, let somebody go to jail, and we're reluctant to give them bail.
I'm going to put my questions up.
That custody in India has intricate problems attached to it, and custodial
yes, but I want to be pointed tonight. Yes, I want to be pointed tonight. Aryaman Sundaram,
I agree with.
Just
which
as
I
you
agree.
Aryaman
no man could be murdered like this, even if he was under trial. In fact, I'm even against a death sentence. I'm definitely against a murder like this.
Limited point tonight. Purnima Advani, before I come to you, Ram Singh, welcome into the debate. I don't want to make this a journalist versus policeman versus lawyer versus human rights activist debate. It's a straightforward debate, which I now go to Purnima Advani. I want to put one question to you, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're watching this tonight. I just want you to visualize a 12 into 12 foot room. You are in a 12 into 12 foot room. There are 3 people who are sleeping next to you. It doesn't take a forensic expert to say the person sitting who is sleeping next to you is not more than 2 feet away from you. How can you take a bucket, jump 3 feet, successfully tie a makeshift rope, not even a real rope, tie it around your neck and successfully die and not manage to wake up anyone? It's just completely, I'm sorry to say this and sound presumptuous, ridiculous. Purnima Advani, do you buy this?
Arnav, I find it very difficult to buy this, and most particularly you have brought out 2 very crucial facts which I must confess I was not aware of. One, that the Delhi police had warned the Tihar jail authorities that there is a threat to this man. Number 2, that he has one functional arm. Now, after that, it seems ridiculous. How is he going to tie a noose with his bedsheet or his cloth or whatever is available over there? But how does he tie that noose? It's extremely difficult to understand that. Moreover, Tihar jail houses 12,500 inmates. 12,500. It's one of the most crowded jails. And in this 12 by 12, there are 4 persons who are staying there. Now, if there is a bucket and you once slip off the bucket, there is noise and anybody would get up. Even in a house, we would wake up. So, are we going to believe that he has jumped on a bucket, put up that
the noose around his neck,
around the ventilator, which is the noose around his neck? The ventilator is 9 feet high. He has not once slipped. He has done a ballet walk so excellently and so softly that nobody could ever hear anything. I mean, that's one. Number 2, what happened to the watchmen around? Were they guilty of some culpable act, or were they negligent? It was a crime of commission or of omission.
Good point.
Where were they? Why were they not knowing what has happened? The next point, why was the Delhi police not informed about what has happened for a period of 2 hours?
2 hours.
This has
2 hours.
happened on the streets.
Precisely.
And somebody is just lying there. Why has it happened that from within the jail, where the prison authorities are there, they are all under the Home Ministry? Why does it take as much time from Delhi to Delhi, from prison to the police headquarters?
Maxwell Pereira.
Information after 2 hours.
Maxwell Pereira. 1 minute. Purnima Advani, the questions will continue, but as you listen to the questions, Maxwell Pereira, I want to consider this, that today, I want to get MN Singh. Maxwell Pereira will respond. TSR Subramaniam, welcome, opening this up. Question is today, I'm sorry to say this, and Aryaman Sundaram will say you're baying for someone's blood. No, we are not. The fact is, people of this country feel cheated, feel completely cheated, that due to the complete negligence of the authorities in Tihar jail. 1 minute, this man did not face the law. You don't go to Tihar jail, Aryaman Sundaram, I can see the cynicism out there in your expression, but you don't go to Tihar jail to commit suicide. You go to Tihar jail to be locked up there till you face the law. MN Singh, too many questions. You have answers for any of them?
Yes, Arnab, there are enough grounds to suspect a foul play. I would accept that. But then we are not here to pass a judgment. I think the whole thing has to be gone into investigated. And there is a process of investigation which is already on. Now, unless the postmortem report and the forensic science reports are available to us, you cannot come to a conclusion whether it is a suicide or a homicide.
We're told it's a suicide.
Or a custodial torture.
We're told it's a suicide.
No, at the moment it has been projected as a suicide because the man is hanging by some window or something like that.
But that's precisely what we've been told.
It has to be investigated.
Sure, it has to be
through a forensic report and the post-mortem report to come to a conclusion. It's too premature for any one of us to come to a conclusion. But yes, I do agree with you that there are enough grounds to suspect a foul play, and it needs to be thoroughly investigated from that angle also.
I don't want to get into broader issues. I want to be more and more specific. Let's get it in, and I think the lawyer for late Ram Singh will also want to say something here.
But murders do take place inside the prison. Suicides also take place. Custodial deaths also take place, and anything is possible at this moment.
Well, then
we cannot say with definitely what exactly has happened.
We are told.
Let us wait and have the report.
We are told it's a suicide. TSR Subramaniam. A person who has, all the accused in the past have been attacked by other inmates. I don't know what steps are taken to ensure their safety. Why would you put a person like that in a 12x12 cell with 3 other people? I mean, it's completely absurd. It lacks common sense.
That is the point.
I know.
There's no common sense in
that. But all the Indian prisons are overcrowded by about 38 to 40%.
No.
And this is the condition. There are any number of reports. The Supreme Court has a ruling on this. There are many commissions, inquiry reports are there. Reform recommendations are there. Indian jails are terribly overcrowded. There are 70 to 75% of the inmates are under trial prisoners, and this is the condition. Particularly Tihar jail is overcrowded by about 200%.
Was he on suicide watch? I don't know. If he was on suicide watch, why was he kept with others?
I mean, there could have been lapses in management, and there could have been lapses. It ought to have happened, but it has happened. There is certainly something which is something bad.
Mr. Subramaniam, you buy the argument put by the police persons tonight on the show.
Arnab, only to start with, we have to wait for the report, unfortunately. But the circumstances are so suspicious. There are so many questions, unanswered questions which have come. Unless the report which comes out in the next 2 or 3 days touches all these questions, there will be a huge lack of credibility that is being exhibited in this program right now. In other words, a very simple one-page statement, a post-mortem and an answer will not answer the question we need. Mr. Ram Singh, for whom I have a lot of regard and respect, says, crowded hai, all this goes on in India, murders take place, custodial deaths take place, suicide takes place, as if that is the norm in our administration of justice situation. I think this is the most important case for the last 10 years in India, the most sought after. The justice has been cheated by either murder or by suicide or by homicide or whatever. And I think it is atrocious. I've got a number of larger issues to cover. Since you wanted to cover at this particular point only this issue, I am taken aback how this man in a fast-track case, in this kind of can be put with 2 or 3 others.
Totally.
Why did they not watch? Were they moonlighting when this happened? Was the guard not there? There are more unanswered questions than facts available. It's important. If a bland report comes that it is suicide or homicide, I think it will be heavily suspect. People will not buy it.
Well, I think, we'll have to get more detailed answers. Maxwell Pereira, before I come back to you and Ram Singh, I get into the debate. Bharti Ullah, co-director of Haq Center for Child Rights. Go ahead. She has a question. Go ahead, Ms. Haq.
Well, the point I want to bring in is that even if this is not the norm and an aberration, the fact is that there are issues that need to be investigated. The circumstances in which this death has taken place is leading us to a lot of questions. And it's important to raise questions, but it is also equally important to keep in mind that we do not conduct a trial right here. Having said that, I think this is also a time when we need to discuss the torture bill once again. It's been pending. India is also a country which did not ratify the Convention on Torture, but we fortunately thought of coming out with a bill. It's time to discuss that bill. What are the procedures we need to have in place in case something like that happens?
No, we will come into that. But I think the discomfort with which Maxwell Pereira, Ariban Sundaram, both of you reacted to my specific questions needs some... I'd like to push the line of questioning. Maxwell Pereira, let me push this line of questioning with you. And I know that you'll say it's a media trial. But the fact is, 3 inmates. I want to know whether Maxwell Pereira, such an experienced policeman, and Ram Singh think the question I'm asking is rubbish. 3 inmates sleep as Ram Singh commits suicide. The fact is that despite Being under strict vigilance, the jailer posted outside his cell fails to see what's happening. It all happens very quietly, and for 2 hours after that, the Delhi police does not know. Just tell me, gentlemen, does this add up? Maxwell Pereira, does it add up? Prima facie.
Yes. Okay. Yes, agreed. And that is precisely what every speaker has said. There are questions to be answered. Will you give the people responsible for these answers to give an answer? Or do we just debate and speculate in thin air without knowing the answers, just saying that, you know, well, we should hang someone, we need someone's head to roll? Is
Certainly
that the
not.
issue here? Because
Certainly
throughout
not.
the debate, I'm saying every speaker has said there are questions to be answered.
Well, I think
these questions need to be answered. I'm in full agreement with that. But
what
else?
Do you find it a suspicious case?
Do
you find it a suspicious case?
At this moment, when no questions are yet answered, we have no answers to these questions yet.
No, do you find it a suspicious case or not? Memen Singh, do you find it a suspicious case?
I do find suspicious.
I told you
but then those suspicions have to be allayed. Have to be allayed after an inquiry. Now, in those inquiry, if there were the first question I asked in an interview this morning was if 3 other people were there in the same cell, how is it that they slept through it?
Exactly.
I mean, there are people who have the ability to sleep through even thunder, but as you say, it doesn't add up.
So, but it doesn't add up. But we are told it's a suicide.
Let the postmortem.
We are told it's a suicide. Unless these questions are asked, entirely possible that the police will hush up their own inadequacies by saying it's a suicide.
You said
I beg to differ with you, Arnab.
There are suspicions. There are suspicious circumstances.
I would like to correct you here. I don't think the police has made any statement that it is the case of suicide. Police are still investigating. And when the policeman investigates a crime, he starts with a suspicion. He has to rule out first whether it is a case of murder. If that is ruled out, then whether it is a case of suicide or there was any torture inside the jail, all these things will be investigated.
Where is the clarity on how he died?
As a policeman, I start with all issues open before me and with a suspicion, and I have to rule out all possibilities one by one, step by step.
Yeah, you say that even the policemen here should be brought under the investigation.
Of course.
And so should those who were in the cell.
Because it could be a case of suicide, it could be a case of murder, it could also be a case of a police torture inside the jail, which might have led to certain these things.
I'm glad.
All these things have to be investigated very thoroughly, but the fact remains, and I agree with Mr. Subramaniam, that there is a lot that needs to be done in the prison reform.
I don't want to get into broader issues. No, I don't want to get into broader issues. I want to ask the specific issue.
This is an occasion, you must focus on this issue, larger issue also.
I'll get into larger issues. I'm asking here today, where are the CCTV cameras? A person in the Nirbhaya gang rape case, ringleader, was there a CCTV camera? And before that, I'd like to ask V.K. Anand, who's lawyer for late Ram Singh. Tell me, Mr. Anand, was there any psychiatric evaluation of Ram Singh which confirms suicidal tendencies?
Exactly, very important.
Actually, I can tell you it's very surprising that even no information was given to his advocate or the family member till 2 p.m. Despite this fact, we requested him what happened. Even today, I went to the Tihar jail and asked the police authorities, please tell me what about all these things. But nobody ultimately cooperated. This is very surprising. Nobody even has given information even to the advocates. So I think this is absolutely a unbelievable story which has been put forward by the Tihar authorities before the public itself. It is a total failure of the security arrangement in the Tihar jail itself. It is not, whatever the story they have ultimately put forward, it is not believable at any cost.
Precisely. And will this...
Also,
No, one second. Purnima Advani, will this have an impact on case? Will it have an impact on the case? Aryaman Sundaram says it will have zero impact on the case. Purnima Advani.
No, according to me, it would have an impact on the case. He is a prime accused. But Arnav, one other point that I would like to make here is, all the speakers are united in one point, that it requires investigation. It is either A or B or C. You cannot deny the fact that while he is in custody in a high alert jail, the jail officials have been at the lowest negligence. They have not even cared to place a vigilance. You rightly asked about CCTVs. There has been not a statement whether there was a suicide watch. Tihar is a jail which is supposed to have the highest number of social and psychological counselors in any jail in this country. And what has happened? Has there been any statement from Tihar jail? There is such a hush on everything. I'm sure the investigation will take its course and all. But we cannot hide from the fact that this death has happened while in high custody, and the police was not informed for 2 hours, and there is supposed to be a watchman guarding that jail. What happened to all those people? What went wrong? These are questions which are extremely crucial and lead to a high degree of probability that something non-normal has happened.
I'm sorry, Mr. Mr. Pereira, it's all adding up to the alleged incompetence of the police authorities once again. However uncomfortable as this may sound, because if this is a case of suicide, it has to be something absolutely exceptional here. You'll say it's a media trial. There are cases, Mr. Pereira, Priyadarshini Mattu case, the accused was the son of a police officer. Only after media outcry and public pressure was the case reopened. So the media has a right to ask the questions. And very often the police has to reopen the file because of these questions.
This is one more question.
Yeah,
I think we need to also figure out
Mr. Pereira,
how many
opinions do not disappear, isn't it? You are saying that the police have a lot to answer. Here we are, who is responsible, the police or the jail administration? I mean, I love the way you use words and just to, I mean, the perpetual whipping boy is the policeman. I don't say policeman doesn't commit any, lapses. But here you are debating who is responsible for this. What did the police have to do in this suicide case?
Mr. Maxwell Pereira,
the jail authority cannot escape from his responsibilities.
Yes, go ahead. Mr. Anand is responding to you. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Anand.
I say police authority or the jail authority cannot escape from his responsibility. It is a duty of the authority. Particularly in this case, trial judge has specifically passed an order for the security of the accused person itself. But despite this fact, no direction, no action has been taken.
Let's get more and more specific. Let's get more specific, Mr. Maxwell Pereira. As per the Delhi jail manual. As per the Delhi jail manual, Delhi jail manual is silent about suicide watch, but it says about what should happen to inmates in the case of medical supervision. And the deputy superintendent of the prison should inform the medical officer about any inmate in need of medical attention. In this case, there was absolutely nobody who said this man could commit suicide. Let's keep a watch on him.
Even today, court has taken a very serious view about
police
this case
has even informed the Tihar jail. From your discussions and debates, I gather the police had already informed the Tihar jail to be careful about him because, there could be a suicidal tendency or whatever. I do not know the facts. I'm going by what has been debated on your channel. And yet you are blaming the police. For what?
Mr. Maxwell Pereira, today, because both the Tihar jail and the Delhi police are giving us a stunned expression. And they are trying to informally pass off a theory that the man killed himself, which is not adding up.
Delhi police has categorically said that they are investigating. The police will investigate. They cannot categorically say it is a suicide or a murder before, the post-mortem report comes. Please get your facts right, Mr. Arnab Goswami.
I think there is need to clarify that there is some confusion about police and the prison. There are two different
I don't want to get technical on that. I'll say jail authorities.
When you are blaming Mr.
Let me say jail authorities.
Mr. Maxwell Pereira is taking objection to you blaming the police again and again.
No, one second.
The jail administration is a very separate department. I am not
blaming Mr. Pereira. First of all, he has nothing to do with this case. I'm not personally blaming him. He knows that. But what I want to know today, whether as senior police officers, both of you gentlemen, who have been at the helm of the Mumbai police and the Delhi police, would like to tell the people watching the news that, listen, it all adds up. It's potentially a suicide. Or do you think...
I start with a suspicion. I said the attending circumstances create enough doubt about this whole episode. It could be a case of murder. At this stage, I can't say anything more than this. But let me tell you, as far as the jail administration is concerned, the negligence aspect is concerned, it is clearly a case of negligence. And I mean, when somebody commits a suicide and is killed inside the jail, obviously, the prison administration has failed in certain aspects, and that has to be looked into, because it's not an ordinary case, it's a very serious case. The whole country
one second. Sources are telling us,
and the whole country today feels cheated that this man, the prime accused in this case, has gone without facing the trial and telling the entire truth.
Mr. Aryaman Sundaram does not think so. When I made that point earlier, that the whole country feels cheated, that this man did not face justice, Mr. Aryaman Sundaram seemed to disagree with me. Mr. Sundaram, do you still disagree with me on that?
Look, the fact of the matter is that the evidence against him, and he is the prime accused, seems very strong. Now, the fact is that is not going to affect the trial at all. Why? Because so far as the accused is concerned, he was not going to come and give evidence with regard to others, or he was not part of any further investigative process. So it's not going to affect the trial at all. The trial will continue against the others. Now, so far as he is concerned, whether he took his own life or whether he was murdered or whether it was custodial death are matters of investigation to be found out, which will take its own course. And this is where I feel and I believe that Indian custodial conditions are terrible. Indian custodial conditions, including security for prisoners, is terrible.
Gentlemen,
and the issue really is that this highlights that more than anything else. We keep putting people into jail and saying, no need of bail right now, let them be in jail longer. We keep forgetting that our custodial conditions are dangerous. Now that is the issue. Is it going to affect the trial? No, not at all.
I see two hands go up. I see two hands go up. I see three hands go up out there. I'd go to TSR. Okay, first I'd go to the lawyer first. I was challenged some time back. One of the panelists who said, Arnab, why are you going on and on saying who said it's a suicide? Nobody said it's a suicide. I am quoting from a news report. According to a news report, an official of Tihar jail has been quoted as saying this. He tied all his clothes together and used the ceiling grill and a wooden stool to hang himself. So I am not writing fiction here on the Newshour, gentlemen. I am coming back to that debate. This is not something I'm making up on the Newshour. Do you believe the story of how this man killed himself? V.K. Anand, lawyer for Ram Singh. Is it true or not that this theory is being given out that he committed suicide by jail authorities?
I say this is a very fictitious story which has been put forward by the jail authority itself. It is not believable at any cost, because whatever the facts are coming, that is not at any cost are believable. What are the circumstances they are putting before the public at large, it is not believable at any cost. I think it is very, very, very serious concern. I think due to this incident, other accused are very much afraid of all these things, and they think they will not get justice, and they will not get a fair trial in this case. And now they wanted whatever I have.
Sir, don't use this case to build sympathy for the other rapists. Sir, don't use this case. I don't use this case to build sympathy for the other rapists. I think what you're doing is potentially dangerous.
Not the question. Question is whether we will get a fair trial or not. Question is this, whether the accused will get a fair trial or not.
Sir, they have got more than a fair trial. I don't think that's the question here. I don't think that is the question here. The only question here is TSR Subramaniam, whether or not the jail authorities are putting out a false story that he committed suicide. And if they are doing so, why they are doing so.
Varna, I recall seeing in the TV today, even the Home Minister of India referring to a suicide.
Exactly.
It's surprising, because no investigation has taken place. I distinctly heard him talk. My first information is that it is suicide, the highest authority in the country on the subject. Having said that, there are 3 or 4. I'm not a lawyer. There are very eminent lawyers here. My first consideration is the other 4 accused are certainly going to use it, pin the maximum amount of blame on the one person who is not there to defend himself. I am not at all certain it won't affect the case. Let us see how it develops.
Aryaman Sundaram says no.
Make one or two more short points.
No, Mr. Sundaram says no, I let him come in. Mr. Sundaram says no, I let him come in. Mr. Sundaram, I'm coming back to you.
Okay, fair enough.
Mr. Sundaram says no, it won't affect the case.
I really fail to understand how the death of one of the accused, when they have already been charge sheeted, is going to affect the trial against the others. After all, as an accused, he was not called upon to give evidence either for himself or against others or anything like that. Now, if he is dead, the trial is not going to get affected. It's a different matter to say what were the jail facilities like which allowed such a death to take place. That's a different question.
Mr. Sundaram,
please don't confuse it with the trial.
I will not,
in any way
I will not argue with,
it's not going to reach its natural end.
I will not argue with the legal acumen of Mr. Ariman Sundaram. All I wish to say is there are only 5 accused and 2 victims in that bus.
True.
One of them is no more.
Well said.
It's fairly easy to pass on much of the activities which took place inside the bus there. It's a legal issue. I withdraw my statement. Having made it, I pass. I leave it to
I
other
have a
legal
question.
people. But let me make, Arnab, let me make 2 or 3 quick points before I go. One is, we talked of a turf war between jail and police. Today we have seen nothing to glorify the police, maybe nothing also to condemn them. All of us know from FIR stage to investigation stage what is happening all over the country. I don't think we need to be happy. The third broad point is that we cannot give a police a clean sheet. Sheila wants police of Delhi under her charge. She is not able to maintain proper administration in the jail which is directly under her charge in one premises. So let us understand the dimensions of what we are
but Mr. Subramaniam,
wherever you touch, the system is rotten.
Mr.
And
Subramaniam,
we are worried about the condition of our justice.
I take your point. But Mr. Subramaniam, you see, there's a bigger question. I get Purnima Advani, Maxwell, and everyone else to come in on this. My concern is, which is the question the entire country is asking. Given that Ram Singh was the prime accused, Purnima Advani, and has reportedly confessed to the Delhi police about his role, correct me if I am wrong, V.K. Anand, reportedly confessed to the Delhi police about his role, will his suicide not pave the way for the other accused to lay the entire blame on Ram Singh and get away with a lighter punishment? Purnima Advani.
I agree to this point, Arnav. Irrespective of, yes, in criminal jurisprudence, it is for the prosecution to prove the case, etc. But at the same time, this is going to pave the way for the other 4 to put the blame completely on this.
There you are, Mr. Sundaram.
That is something that I foresee. But another point, Arnav, we are all talking about the investigation and let it be conducted. But who is going to conduct?
I don't agree at all.
Investigation? Is it going to be independent? Is it going to be independent? That is my worry as of today.
No, but that is the question. You lay the blame on this man. You lay the blame on this man and then cover it.
Not at all. Not at all. Come on, Arnab, not at all. What are we talking about?
There is
the prime accused. Against 5 accused. The case goes on against the 5 accused. The prosecution proves the case against the 5 accused.
Yeah, but Purnima Advani says...
It's rarely done, if at all, that any of the accused gives any evidence in a case. It's for the prosecution to make out a case. Where is the question of laying the blame, etc.? It's not that the accused are going to come forward and be giving evidence against a dead man. Far from it. Where do you ever find an accused coming and giving evidence in a case? It's usually only the prosecution's case which has to be proved. The accused himself is never called upon to come on the stand.
I'm very sorry.
Under Article 20, he cannot be forced to give evidence against himself. And secondly, one accused evidence against another accused is very, very weak evidence. So I really think that we are flying in the wrong way in assuming that this will immediately result in the other 4 getting away because they'll put the blame at this man's door.
I would like to butt in here. Of course, Mr. Ariman Sundaram is one of the legal luminaries and I have a very high regard for him. But then I agree with him to the extent that this is not, the death of this fellow is not going to derail the trial process. And therefore, it is not going to impact in that sense. But I do not rule out the possibility of the other accused because we don't know what happened and why he died. I do not rule out the possibility of the other accused trying to take advantage and trying to sort of wriggle out of this or to minimize it. That is one thing. And the second thing is that, as I said earlier, that the whole country feels cheated because the prime accused in the case, the main fellow, has somehow died and has in fact escaped the process of the trial and the humiliation that he was suffering. And therefore the country feels cheated. to that extent, it is a very unfortunate thing.
Well, after the security lapse, Press Trust of India reports here, one minute, Press Trust of India reports here, Home Minister says preliminary inquiry suggests he has committed suicide. There's a major security lapse. We'll wait for the inquiry to be completed. Well, now, one second. The question I have for VK Anand is this. This whole business of a security lapse has led to the demand for bail of the accused for the other authorities, because they'll say that the Tihar jail authorities cannot provide security to the accused. Will this have a bearing on the bail plea of the others? Tell me.
Even this question came today itself in the court itself. This question came, the accused are all afraid of, they are not interested to go to the even Tihar jail. They say they wanted to go, despite not to the Tihar jail, but they will prefer to go to the jail, police station itself, but they will not prefer to go to the Tihar jail itself. So question as regards your question is whether they are entitled for the bail is concerned, this procedure are to be followed in this regard. But on the other hand, we are ensuring their safety problem are concerned, that we have made an application, we are going to make an application to the court itself that their safety measures are to be taken perfectly.
Well, I think that, yes, a couple of last comments on this. Bharti Haq, please. Where do you see this going right now?
Well, at the moment, Arnav, I think whether it is the other accused trying to get benefit out of it, or whether it is actually genuinely there has been an impact on their psyche and on their mental health, is something. I mean, both the situations need to be treated equally seriously, and therefore the only way out is to have time-bound investigation into what really happened, and at the same time also look at questions like, have there been suicides in Tihar in the past? How many, under what circumstances? Because to my understanding, suicide inside Tihar is really, really very difficult.
Well,
and therefore, the theory of foul play has to be taken on, and the course of investigation has to be on those grounds.
Well, I think.
Finally, my last word.
Yeah.
Sorry. My last word would be that we have to see that the trial, whether that's going to be affected or not, is something for the courts to decide. I think in terms of technicalities, perhaps not, but in terms of the impact on the other accused, definitely yes.
I think that, at this, with all respect, Ms. Bharti Haq, in this case, the greatest injustice was done to Nirbhaya. And we need to look at serving justice from the point of view of the victim, not of the point of view of the accused. The facts have been laid bare here. We can't go around in circles.
No, accused has also a fundamental right.
Sir, I know that, sir. Sir, I know that. Let's not.
Have a right.
Sir, don't get into those arguments here on the show.
Yes.
No, don't get into those arguments here. You have every right as Ram Singh's lawyer to say he's not committed suicide. But if you tell the people of this country that Ram Singh was innocent and the other four also are innocent, I'm sorry, MN Singh, will anybody believe VK Anand?
Question is this,
will anybody believe?
Public sentiment can play a very vital role.
No, don't. Anybody is saying that
watch it.
In fact, it is one of the very unfortunate and sad part of the Indian judicial system, the criminal justice system, that an accused who is known by the whole world to have committed this heinous crime is being defended by somebody, and defended to the extent of saying that the whole case is a fraud. I mean, this is, come on.
Maxwell Pereira, your response, 1 minute. Here, Maxwell, your response to VK Anand, who's the lawyer for Ram Singh, who's trying to use this case to build up a stronger case for the other co-accused. Your response to him before I wrap up.
I can only say it is condemnable, but at the same time, who called such people to, postulate such this thing? I think, doesn't the media have to blame here? Why do you discuss such issues which put ideas into the minds of the other accused?
Well, let me tell you.
What stops? The other accused can always use, whether there was a suicide or not, they can always use any plea, any kind of a, red herring to put a matter of doubt in the minds of the court. And by discussing these kind of issues, are you yourself or are we
Mr.
all
Maxwell Pereira,
not disrespecting
Mr. Maxwell Pereira, I'll tell you one thing. Mr. I have great regard for you. No, I first want to say I have great regard for you. 1 minute. Don't tell me your fundamental rights. Mr. Maxwell Pereira asked the media a question, and he knows that I have tremendous regard for him. I'd like to remind Mr. Pereira Who opened the Priyadarshini Mattu case? The media. Who asked questions about how Manu Sharma, what he was doing on parole? The media. Who asked questions about the circumstances of VVIP treatment for Yediyurappa in jail? The media. Who asked the question about the treatment for Punjab Minister Bibi Jagir Kaur being treated as a special prisoner in jail? The media. The media will ask the questions. When the media asks the questions, we have a right, but it's not going to give the rapist a clean sheet.
Are you suggesting that the media influenced the judgment?
You sure about it? I think that no judge in this country and no court will be influenced by the media. The media only puts the facts together, however uncomfortable, and that is our responsibility.
Please, remain at that.
Yes, Mr. Maxwell Parara, in this case...
Before we shut, one very important point, I only hope that the investigation is conducted in an independent manner.
I beg.
And that is what I really fear.
I second that. I think we all are on same ground on that. Ladies and gentlemen, we may disagree, but our right to have a debate and to investigate something is the right given by a democracy. And I thank you all for participating on this debate tonight. Thank you.